abolish the Robert E. Lee statue. I think that's what they're saying to me, right? What do you guys intend to do? Are you going to take any action against them if they try to take it down at some point? Because it sounds like the NAACP is continuing to push for this. What's going to be your action if they do decide to move that statue?
We have Mr. McAllister. Mr. McAllister, come here. Mr. McAllister is the legal around here, so he probably can answer that question better than I can. What was the question?
What would happen if the city and county do make an effort to take down the statue, try to take it down? Because it sounds like they both own it now, so they could actually try to do that and try to move it to a museum. What kind of legal action, if any, would you take?
We probably would take legal action. It may very well be on the federal level. This is being contemplated in several places, including Lakeland right now, because this is a public monument. It's free speech in the public, and the local government doesn't have a right to affect that themselves. That's not really what we were talking about much tonight. We were really debating the merits of General Lee, mostly, as I understood it. But yes, there would definitely be contemplated legal action. I can't guarantee anything, but that's certainly in our arsenal to fight with.
Why is there this debate over who Robert E. Lee was? It sounds like no matter who you talk to, there's a different opinion and or facts of who he was.
There are facts in their lives. As I told the city council tonight, at first when I listened to the NAACP president, I thought that he just didn't know history. But this man came here and just lied, outright lied. General Robert E. Lee, first of all, opposed slavery. Hey, said if he'd give everything he owned away to get rid of slavery, he would. General Robert E. Lee was a Union man. He really didn't like secession. I left the mayor a very old book about General Robert E. Lee. And for this man to come here and tell a lie that General Lee beat his slaves and all, it's the same lie that I heard in Hollywood, Florida, by a Yankee black man who knew nothing about General Robert E. Lee. Said that General Robert E. was subhuman white trash to beat his slaves every day. That is one of the most egregious lies ever told. You cannot attack a man of General Robert E. Lee's caliber. Even after he freed the slaves, he talked about this 5-year period. He had to put the plantation back together because when his wife inherited the plantation, it was in disarray. Her dad had died at a very old age. Not one of those slaves wanted to leave General Robert E. Lee, even after the 5-year period was up and he got the plantation back in some kind of running order. They said to him, Marshal Lee, we don't want to go anywhere. We want to stay right here with you. So, you know, it's bad enough not really knowing history, but to just come out and just outright tell lies, that man ought to be ashamed of himself. I was ashamed of him. I was ashamed that the Judeo-Christian white folks in this chamber had to listen to him. And I'm very sure that members of the city council know, this is Lee County. You gotta know some history about General Robert E. Lee. General Robert E. Lee probably was the most honorable man who ever walked God's earth other than Jesus Christ himself. And for him to stand there and defame General Robert E. Lee, he ought to be ashamed of himself. Now, as a former president of the NAACP and vice president of the NAACP and co-founder of the Black Student Center at the University of Minnesota, I've been in civil rights all my life. And for you to just come, I already know what the issue began for the NAACP. It was about the fact that they were going broke. Julian Bond stood up at the National Convention in 1989 and said, oh my God, we're the oldest civil rights organization in the country. We're getting ready to have to close our doors. What are we going to do? And one northern Jewish white man who happened to be the Jewish northern white man owned the NAACP. It don't belong to black folks. And he said, we don't have to go broke. We got plenty of money. But we need for you to do something for us. We're tired of sending our babies down south listening to that band playing Dixie. And we're tired of sending our corporate workers down south looking at that rebel flag. Now we as northern white men, we can't go attack that flag. But all you have to do is just go around there and say slavery, and those black folks don't know anything about that war, they don't know anything about themselves, and they'll get right in line.
On this debate, it just sounds like, it may not be generally personally, but the representation of the Confederacy in that statue does cause people to say, hey, my grandfather was enslaved, maybe didn't have the fortune of other slaves to fight
the whole
war.
World was complicit.
Right. I'm talking about the war. No, I'm talking about the war in particular, and that's why I think it sounds like it's really stirring up a lot of open wounds for people.
Open wounds because the wound you open up, if you open up that wound with a lie, you cannot forget about the trained cadre of black folks on plantations all across the South End of America. They made all the implements of war, provided all the food stuff for General Lee's beleaguered army. You can't forget about all those black folks that went off to war with a man that he not only called master, but a man he called family and friend. You cannot forget about the Core Amendment. You talk about Abraham Lincoln and the war. The Core Amendment, even though he wasn't the one who made it up, when those white men from Congress, Southern white men left Congress, Abraham Lincoln grabbed up the Core Amendment, which basically said if they would ratify it, that Congress would never have the ability to end the economic institution of slavery. And the Southern white men said, no, we ain't gonna do that to our family. The Industrial Revolution coming on, with the great Commonwealth of Virginia was doing everything it do to figure out a way to free its slave in dignity. They knew a man had to have an education, a home, some money, the ability to be a citizen. Just saying that you're free, that means nothing. You got to have, you have every race that ever had that was in slavery. And there was a lot of, most of the folks in this country was in slavery, or either a slave or owned slaves. You had to prepare a man for this. And Southern white folks knew this. They weren't about to just take their family and just send them out there on the rest of the world, not understanding what freedom was all about. Listen, let me tell you something. And if you want to talk about slavery, let's talk about those thieving Africans in Africa. Let's talk about the annual day when they went into the villages and stole all the women and killed all the men. And until the Spanish and the Portuguese start dealing with human trafficking, they still went into the villages and stole the women and sold the men off into slavery. So, you know, if you want to talk about slavery, slavery was a worldwide institution for as long as God walked the earth himself. So, people keep talking about slavery. As a Southern black man, I will tell every Southern black man who hear my voice, first of all, don't be duped again. This is the second time for Reconstruction. We ought to get down on our knees and kiss the ground that our ancestors came to the greatest country on the whole universe, and especially they came to the Southland of America. I'm not here defending the economic institution of slavery, but it was my ticket, and I thank God every day that my great-great-grandmama Hetty went to the Honorable T.R. Edgerton family in Rutherford County, North Carolina. If she had not come here, I might still be looking at the institution of slavery, because those thieving Africans are still in the economic institution of slavery. I don't see Jesse Jackson, and I don't see Al Sharpton and any rest of the poverty pimps out there talking about slavery. So beating up Southern white folks about the economic institution of slavery is a red herring and it's poppycock.
I don't think I have anything else to ask.
Well, I hope you got some more, because I got some more to give if you got it.
Real quickly, though, actually, let me bring this up.
And let me tell your station, Fox News. Fox News has been a very honorable station. But I certainly don't appreciate standing around here in 30, 40 minutes with you talking, and only thing I see that your editors do is to take 3 minutes out and say that H.K. Edgerton said while he was in the council chambers here that he'd fight a butane burning dragon for General Robert E. Lee. I would! But there's other things that I'm telling you right now too.
I just want real important, last thing, but pretty important. You mentioned that if there would be a lot of national attention on Lee County if they took that statue down, there'd be a lot of embarrassment, would you say? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what would have happened if that did happen?
Let me tell you this. It is high time for some Southern white men and women in the Southland of America to get over the white folk guilt, to get over this thing, because it's not just about the monument. The monuments, they just weaponizing the monument for other reasons. You better take a good look at George Soros, and you better take a good look at all these people who are trying to destroy the Constitution. If it don't be for the Southern white folks, you understand me, and understand as well. Even though General Robert E. Lee signed that treaty at Appomattox Courthouse in 1865, Southern white folks around here still been protecting the Constitution. And if you get rid of the Christian cross of St. Andrew, if you start taking away our monuments, who is going to protect the Constitution of the United States of America? Who is going to keep this institution standing? And this is what this is all about. They're only weaponizing our monuments so that the evil that they have in mind can come. And let me tell you something, folks in the North and Southland of America, they better understand this thing. The whole of America is under attack right now. And you better stop taking down our monuments, because guess what? It's a slippery slope. If I was going to take down a monument, I'd take down Abraham Lincoln. He was the biggest bigot of his time. That's who I'd be snatching down, but I'm not going to take it down. Let that boy stand up there so I can tell you about him when you walk by him. If you're going to take it down a monument, guess what? Martin Luther King will come sooner or later. Some of these folks that you've let in this country will come and say, well, wait a minute, y'all. Martin Luther King was a womanizer. Martin Luther King preached the battle hymn of the Republic on TV. There are a lot of reasons why you can take a man's name and smear his name. Ain't nobody around here free of sin. We learned that around here from the Christian white folks who built places all over the Southland of America to teach us about Jesus Christ. We're all guilty of sin. And I'm going to tell you something. You want to talk about whitewashing the place, you better take the whole of Florida and just whitewash it. Slavery is the issue. Because we know that 400 years before the first African ever entered the 13 colonies, Spanish folks, but Portuguese was involved in the slave trade. And I was surprised after I saw how many Africans came off the continent, there wasn't any left. So when you start whitewashing things and whitewashing history, and slavery is going to be the issue, my dear black folks, you may well just change this name, Miss Africa, because you're going to have to whitewash everything. Better go around here and not be duped again. They didn't get the memo from the Pole Bearers Association or the United Monumental Association. We're going to do everything we can do to regain and retain the relationships of the only true friend we ever had in the whole of the world, and that is the relations and love of the Southern white man. Bar none, still. I'm angry.
I can tell.
I don't like it. I'm sick and tired of my people being duped and lied to. Black folks been duped and lied to around here long enough. Hatred. I watched what I saw up in St. Augustine from a man that called himself a man of God, his wife, running for a judge. I'd hate to be a white man and have to stand before her. I was so ashamed of the hatred and bigotry that I saw up there from a man called himself Reverend Rawls and his wife. What a shame. Anything else?
I think I'm good. I'm running low on batteries too, so it's perfect timing. Thank you.